Hey guys, welcome back to Link Groups. We're so excited to have you guys here for the second week of our Wired series. We're just talking about phones. And so a couple weeks ago, we stood outside this Verizon store, so I figured it was applicable to stand out here again. Question one for you guys. How many of you guys have cell phones? And if you don't worry, because it probably simplifies your life a little bit more, gives you some less stress. But for those of you guys who have cell phones, question number two is this. Who makes the decisions for your cell phones? Like, who goes to the store and chooses out the plan, chooses out the phone, chooses all that progress, who does data? Is it your dad, your stepmom, your grandma, or is it you? If it's you, it can be kind of a confusing process, unless, your parents are like, here's some money, get whatever you want. But if you actually have to go through the decision of making sure if you want shareable data, how many gigabytes you want, what even is a gigabyte? According to Wikipedia, 1 gigabyte is approximately an hour's worth of SDTV at 2.2 megabytes a second. What does that even mean? That's why some smart people started a company to help us normal people figure out what's going on. In 1999, and it started back up again in 2014, the company Wirefly was founded and claims to be able to help us normal people figure out what plans and phones we want. They claim to have state-of-the-art comparison tools for phones and data plans. In other words, they help you compare phones and data plans so that you don't get ripped off. They help you figure out what's worth your money and what isn't. Deciding what's worth it is fine when it comes to cell phones, but do you ever feel that way when it comes to people around you? Whether it be at school, home, over the weekends, at sports, or with your friends, do you ever feel like you're being sized up like a Wirefly experience? Like, people are trying to decide whether you are worth their attention, time, and energy. Now throw your families into the mix. Does it ever feel like your parents, step-parents, or even older siblings don't have the time to really invest into you? Really they love you, but they just don't have the time to really get down into your life and figure out what's going on with you. Maybe you feel like they don't listen to you. Maybe you feel like they don't value your opinion. Or maybe you feel like you just want them to spend more time. Whatever it is, even if it's not true, it's easy to add all of this up and just assume that your family doesn't really think that you're worth it. Now think about God. I know when I was a teenager, I didn't feel like I measured up to all the qualifications that it meant to be a good church kid. I grew up in church and I knew that God loved me and He sent His Son to die for me. But I felt like all the sins that I had, all the bad stuff that I had done, disqualified me from being able to have a relationship. When in reality, it's more like I disqualified myself. I didn't pursue a relationship in God because I didn't think that God thought that I was worth it anymore. I felt like I had lost my value to Him. Do you ever feel like out of the billions of people in the world, why would God have the attention for you? Side note, if we're being honest, sometimes it's like we bring the Wirefly system to other people. Like, we try and judge them and measure them up to see if they're fun enough, they're cool enough, they offer us enough in their relationship for them to be worth it to us. And then we treat our parents and our siblings and our friends like we don't have the time to invest in a relationship with them. Because when it comes down to it, sometimes we can be as guilty of the Wirefly system as other people might be to us. The Wirefly system, the urge to compare is natural, but it becomes a problem when you try and determine what other people think about you and then let that determine what you think about yourself. I mean, maybe you think people at school don't like you. Then you probably won't find much value and won't like yourself at all. Maybe you're convinced that your dad could care less about what you do and think. Then maybe that will make you feel like you don't matter or you don't have any value. Or maybe you assume that God has given up on you and you let that make you believe that you aren't good enough or worth it. Or maybe you're holding on to a bad habit or habitual sin, and you just don't think that you can ever get out of it, and you've disqualified yourself from being loved by God. Maybe something's been done that hurt you, something that someone has done to you, and your value has been very, very low because of that. Or maybe you think that people just think that you're a weirdo. I mean, I hear people all the time talking about how they don't like someone because they're weird. And then I ask, what does that mean? And they rarely have a clear reason to actually know why they don't like that person. And when it boils down to it, all it is because the person looks different, thinks different, acts different, dresses different, or believes something different than them. And they just disqualify them from friendship because of that. What we're talking about today not only has the chance to change the way that you think about yourself, but the way that you think about God and the way that you think about God thinking about you. As you go into small group times today, I just want you to kind of think about the Wirefly system. Think about whether or not you try and assume what people think about you and what people determine your value is, and whether or not you let that determine what your value is to yourself. I just hope that you guys have a great week. We love you, we're praying for you, and I hope you guys enjoy your small group time as we see you guys next week at church.